Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Canto 4, Chapters 9, Text 12. Dhruva Maharaj returns home. Tena smaranti atitaram priyamishamartyam ye chavanda sutas suhat grihavittadhara ye tvabjana bhavavadiya padaravinda saugandhyalupta hridayeshu krita prasanga. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace Abhaya Charanarvinda Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Translation. O Lord, who have a lotus navel, if a person happens to associate with a devotee whose heart always hankers after your lotus feet, seeking always their fragrance, he is never attached to the material body or in a bodily relationship to offsprings, friends, home, wealth, and wife, which are very, very dear to materialistic persons. Indeed, he does not care for them. Purport. A special advantage in devotional service is that devotees not only enjoy the transcendental pastimes of the Lord by hearing and chanting and glorifying them, but also are not very much attached to their bodies, unlike the yogis, who are too attached to the body and who think that by performing bodily gymnastics exercises, they will advance in spiritual consciousness. Yogis are generally not very much interested in devotional service. They want to regulate the breathing process. This is simply a bodily concern. Here Dhruva Maharaj plainly says that a devotee has no more bodily interest. He knows that he is not the body from the very beginning. Therefore, without wasting time in bodily exercises, a devotee searches out a pure devotee and simply by his association becomes more advanced in spiritual consciousness than any yogi. Because a devotee knows that he is not the body, he is never affected by bodily happenings, happiness or distress. He is not interested in bodily relationships with wife, children, home, bank balance, etc., or in the distress and happiness which comes from these things. This is the special advantage of being a devotee. This status of life is possible only when a person is interested in associating with pure devotee, who always enjoys fragrance of the lotus feet of the Lord. So Dhruva Maharaj, again continuing the onslaught on the materialistic aspects of life. Generally, sadhus are called they say they are like a sword, knife, sword. Yatis, sadhus, they walk around with a sword. In many religions they have real swords, but then sadhus don't carry real swords, but they are themselves a sword. Why? They cut the knots of material entanglement of the generally people who are in the material life. Generally, when sadhus come home, their only purpose is to cut the knots. That should be the purpose. In our preaching also, it is not that we preachers are totally pure, totally cut off from material things. We are in the process of cutting. But at least the desire to cut is there. The desire to follow is there. We are following. But the materialistic people are totally in the andakupam, grihamandakupam. Grihamandakupam is total darkness of material life, entangled in the duties and responsibilities of household life. Now this is a very contradictory statement. You would say, so you do not promote family life? You do not promote responsible taking care of children and relatives? The last sentence says, they don't care. Indeed, he does not care for them. It's a very, very hard statement for general public. But if you go deep into this material world and what it can offer, which we all are learning, what material world can offer. A person who is convinced that material world can offer so much cannot be a devotee. A person who is convinced that the material world cannot offer anything, I have nothing to get from the material world, then he is ready for spiritualism. So cutting the knots of material world is the most important thing. To get convinced that material life has its limitations and we do not go further on it other than what is necessary. So we should not misunderstand these statements in Bhagavatam which says no attachment to family, friends, home. Yes, no attachment to the family, friends, home who are not Vaishnavas. Right. So we give up family relationship, Avaishnava relationships. But somebody is a Vaishnava and he has a family, but he has to understand what is the meaning of this. Sometimes especially the grihasthas, if they are not understood the grihastha life properly, then they will do convenient renunciation. Right. Convenient renunciation. What they like, they hold on to. What they don't like, they will not. No time. I have to go for preaching. If there is some emergency in the house, right? Or the other way around. There is so much responsibility in the house, I can't preach. So we have to understand what is the real responsibility. How do we balance? So Prabhupada did not tell the devotees, grihasthas, to not take care of the family. Rather, taking care of the Vaishnava family is a responsibility. It's also devotional service because it is serving the Supreme Lord. The Supreme Lord has provided children, they had to be taken care, their requirements has to be done. At the same time, there is a stand-off not to get totally into that and neglect swadharma of a devotee. Swadharma of a devotee, his chanting, his sadhana, his seva. He doesn't neglect that. So we have to understand that. Here, Dhruva Maharaj himself, after all this thing, what happened? Did he go to continue doing tapasya? No, he went home. Not only that, he became the king. Not only that, he became emperor. Not only that, he fought. He was so angry when his brother was killed. Brahma had to come, I think Brahma, right? He had to come and tell, "Bhai, stop." So action in this material world is to be balanced. How much towards materialism and how much towards own self-interest. So there is always this conflict of the constitutional duty and the conditional duty. The duties that have to be done because we are conditioned. Like we have a body. Neglecting the body is not duty. Taking care of the body is duty. It is a conditional duty. It is not a constitutional duty. Constitutionally, we are Nitya Krishna Das, Atma, pure Atma. But now that we are in the conditioned state, there is a conditional duty. Naimittika karma, Nitya karma. Nitya karmas are there. For every varna, every ashram, Brahmanas, they have to do their different karmas. For their bodily requirement, for whatever they are following in their traditional way. These are all their naimitika karmas. Our nitya, our constitutional karma is to serve the Supreme Lord. So a balance is needed in understanding what and how much material life we need to give importance to. So these statements have to be understood very carefully. But everything said and done, at the end of a life, a pure devotee has no concern other than to be continuously attached, and like the previous verse said, not just attached, it is more than attached, addiction, mattaha. Mattaha means it's not just attachment, it is much more than attachment. It is like addiction. So a pure devotee does not have anything other than getting addicted to the service of the Supreme Lord. That is the final stage. So one may think, oh, I thought Krishna consciousness is a very responsible life. Now, end of life, I had to give up everything. Some people fear that. Prabhupada also said, I was very scared to be a sannyasi. I couldn't take all the responsibility of a sannyasi. Right? So these fears are there in everybody. But once he is involved with Krishna, then he doesn't even think, he doesn't even feel that he has lost anything. Because one who has Krishna, he has not lost anything. One who does not have Krishna, he doesn't have anything, even though he has all zeros. So final stage of Krishna consciousness is total addiction to Krishna. And this addiction is not a mental speculation. It's not a condition created by the mind. It is a natural attraction to reality. Krishna's lotus feet, the fragrant lotus feet, the all-attractive lotus feet of the Lord, the all-attractive body of the Supreme Lord, the all-attractive smile of the Lord, the all-attractive relationship with the Lord, the all-attractive transcendental rasa in relation with the Lord. These are all real, and they have that spiritual nature which sustains the spirit soul. So it is not that he is empty. Whereas the Mayavadis are empty. They don't have, they'll say, going after the fragrance, I gave up all the fragrance and came in life. Came to God, become a sadhu, Mayavadi sadhu. Like the Sanat Kumaras. Gave up everything. But got attracted. They were surprised. How do we get attracted? We have given up everything. We have given up all attraction, only Brahman. But in Brahman also there is variegatedness. In Brahman you can get attracted to the reality. So people do not understand the depth, the seriousness of the statement that this material world is nothing but a small creation of the Lord for the unfit souls or for souls who need reformation. It's a very small affair in the whole affair of the Lord. A small portion. Just like it is said, the whole Vaikuntha. Kunta means no anxiety, no limitations. Vaikuntha is a place where there is no limitation. Material world is a place where everything is limited. We are limited by everything, limited by my body, limited by my karma, limited by the gunas which is controlling me, limited by the time, kala. So we are limited by all these three things, guna, kala, karma. But Vaikuntha is a place where there is no limit. Right? So that situation is the real situation of the Lord. As Prabhupada tries to explain, a simple example is that main city. A main city's work is not running the prison house. The main work of the city is so many things, welfare of the people, water requirement, light requirement, garden requirement, road requirement, which is in bad shape. But these are the concerns of a state. Prison. How much time do we read about prison? Repair work is not done in the prison. Do we hear it anywhere? There is a prison means no repair. You are supposed to suffer there without any facility. So that is this material world. So who talks about prison? Same way in Vaikuntha, who talks about material world? But we are so much concerned about the material world. We are so much concerned about my day-to-day life. I am so much concerned about my body, my diseases, my problems, my desires, my requirements, my family's requirement, my state's requirement, country's requirement, humanity requirement, cosmic requirement. All these compared to the Vaikuntha requirement is nothing. Irrelevant. Now how many of the material people will understand this? It's only those people who understand the irrelevance of the existence of the material world compared to the entire creation of the Lord can even think of detachment. This detachment is fearful. Detached from everything. A detachment should have something to fill it back. We take out something, it has to be filled. So filling Krishna consciousness. So that is every day we chant. Narayana Namaskritya, Naranchaiva Narottamam, Devim Saraswatim Vyasam, Tato Jayamudiraye. You remember these personalities. Why? Because you are starting a battle. Chant Jai and fight against Maya. That is the meaning of the sloka. Every day we are chanting that, but we do not know. Are we ready for Maya? To attack the material world, battle against material world, battle against dissents. It's not a small thing, it's a huge affair. But it has become, we have got used to that. But we need to sit back and think, I'm in real business here. We are in a real subject matter. It's not some playful thing. What is the subject matter? Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya. Traveling from darkness to light. Traveling from ignorance to knowledge. Traveling from unreal to the real. Sat, traveling from asat towards sat. So the life of Sat, life of reality, life of real existence is life connected to the Supreme Lord. The life unconnected to the Supreme Lord is a foreign subject matter in Vaikuntha. Just like becoming a devotee in this material world is a foreign subject for material people. They think, oh, you gave up everything and joined. What will you go and do there? How do you spend your 24 hours? I hear devotees are saying, Prabhu, no time, didn't finish service. They are saying that what will you do? We are saying that we have no time. And this is what Bhagavad Gita says. Night for them is day for us, and day for us is night for them. They won't understand us, we won't understand them. Not possible. So just imagine to give up all those, that is called reality. It's a huge step we do. When we accept Krishna consciousness. It's a very glorious thing. It's like, winning over an enemy. Winning over the enemy which has been keeping us, subduing us, keeping us surrendered, keeping us, exploiting us, actually speaking. Who likes to be exploited? Who likes to be cheated? But we are here getting cheated day and night by our limited mind and our assumed body. Self-created body. Everything is self-created. So, I create my surroundings. We all create our surroundings. And then we blame everything else other than myself. That is the nature in the material world. I create this body. I created this mind. I created everything that I am today. I created my environment. I created my friends and foes. I created my relatives. Of course, Daiva Netrena, by the process of demigods who are sanctioning what you want. So whom do you blame? Since there is a Chinese, I don't know why everything becomes Chinese. We have a wise statement that, I forget the right thing. It says something like, a man who blames the world has not achieved anything. And a man who blames himself has achieved something. And a man who blames nobody has achieved everything. What is the meaning of that? I have created my today's situation. But in my complaint list, where is my name there? If somebody says, okay, write down your complaint, write down the list of complaints. The first thing we should write is myself. But you read the list which I write, anybody write, give a paper to everybody. Write down all your troubles. The person who writes, there is no trouble. is a person who has understood Krishna consciousness. Right? Why? Because I have created everything. I can't give up my family. You created the family. Now you give it up. I can't create my bank. I cannot give up my bank balance. You created the bank balance. You give it up. I'm so attached to the material world. You created the attachment. Give it up. I'm so much, I have so much lusty desires. I created the lusty desires. It is like a man who is holding onto the tree and saying, I can't give up. The tree is not giving me up. Tree is not giving me up. You give up. The tree is not holding you. You are holding the tree. This is the foolish situation in the material world. So how would an ordinary man understand this statement? A devotee gives up all material connection, including his suhrid, everything. Impossible to understand. And we are in the process to make them understand. Give up suta suhud griha vitta dharaha. Vitta is the most difficult thing to give up. Money. So we are in a process of trying to explain to people that they cannot understand. And we are in the process of convincing ourselves a subject matter which is very difficult to get convinced. So just imagine what a glorious activity we are involved in. Not a small thing. We are involved in a huge affair. Material world, newspaper you read, $1 billion business, $1 million business, $1 trillion business, big issues, volcano here, volcano there, rain here, rain there, flood here. What is it? Environmental? What do they call it? Global warming. You are sitting and warming. Your seat is getting warm. Get up. Your seat is getting warm. If you sit there, you'll get burnt. Get out of the material world. That is why it is said, chant and get out. And the whole nation, all the leaders will sit together, spending crores of rupees and decide how many years you will stop coal, how many years you will stop fire. And the biggest complaint is who? The poor cows and the farmers. They say, it's the belching of the cow which is creating global warming. The air with the cow is passing is creating global warming. How much more foolish? The methane emitted by the paddy fields are creating the global warming. You rascals are pumping out smoke so much everywhere, in and out. This is what a pure devotee, say like Prabhupada, is sitting and laughing at this world, right? He's sitting and laughing at us. What are you guys trying to do? So this business is a huge business. It's a big affair. Giving up unreal things. That is why this process is kept very sacred. Vedas are kept very sacred. These are called guhyatamam sastram. I am giving this secret knowledge to you, Arjuna. Idam guhyatamam sastra. I am giving to you. So Krishna in this Kali Yuga, that is why Kali Yuga has its beauty. With all the smoking going around, you still have a chance because the secret is out of the bag. In Satya Yuga, Treta Yuga, Dwapara Yuga, secret is not out of the bag. You have to go and find it out. Atmosphere may be very conducive, but the struggle to finding is the same. Not that in Satya Yuga, Treta Yuga, Dwapara Yuga automatically become Krishna conscious. No. Atmosphere may be conducive, but your internal atmosphere, the internal struggle is same in any yuga. But the chance in Kali Yuga is very much there. Why? Because the guhyatamam, that secret, right? That intelligence to understand what is right, what is wrong is easily available. And because it is easily available, what will happen when something is very easily available? No value. Right? So, even though we are involved in such great activity, most auspicious activity, very, very serious activity, we have no value for ourselves. We should have value for what we are doing. We should be proud of what we are doing. We have to be proud of every step we are taking in this temple. Every step we take from morning when we get up till going to bed is a very, very auspicious work. Every step you are going back to Godhead. We are walking horizontal, but actually we are walking vertical. Right? We are going up. Every hour we spend is an hour towards freedom. How much happy we should be. Are we happy? Why? No value. No value to what we are doing. That is why Shastras are saying again and again, calling Mudha. Very, very, boldly. And very boldly Prabhupada calls rascals. Whom? Great scientist. So the sadhus are carrying this knife, one cut off materialism and release you to spiritualism. And that's what Krishna says. 15th chapter, what is the verse? Second verse, third verse, 15th chapter. Dridena chitva. Right? Don't try to understand the beginning of this world, Arjuna. Don't try to understand its purpose also. Don't try to understand its end. Just take the sword of knowledge and cut it. What is the verse? Open a mobile phones. So we need to give importance to this. Meditation should be on this subject matter. Another kind of distraction which comes in our life, even though we accept everything, is a distraction of getting lost in what we are doing. Getting lost in what we are doing is actually the disease of fruitive activity. So everything that we do, we need to coat it with Krishna consciousness consciously, not unconsciously. Yes, benefit is there even if it is unconsciously, but consciously to coat it with Krishna consciousness is important, because only then every action becomes bhakti. Only then every action becomes devotional service. And by doing this kind of devotional service, which is consciously thinking of Krishna while doing devotional service, without neglecting to the details of the service. Again, not a very easy thing to do. Okay, Prabhu, what happened? Went wrong. Somebody said, okay, paint this room, paint it red. I painted it green. Prabhu comes and asks me, I was thinking of Krishna. I didn't know the difference between red and green. Not that kind of thinking. Not that kind of conscious. That is unconscious thinking. So without giving up the seriousness and the details of the seva we do, we need to coat our mind with Krishna consciousness. This is for Krishna. Chanting Hare Krishna. What does it mean? It is to engage us in Krishna service. That is why we were saying yesterday, devotional service means action. What is the meaning of Hare Krishna Mahamantra? Act. Keep me and my action in your service. Right? Soul is always active, ever active. There is nothing called inaction for soul. Prabhupada explained dharma. Dharma is defined as service. Because service is that intrinsic aspect of soul which cannot be given up. As much as the liquidity, sweet, or heat and light are the intrinsic qualities of these elements. So the intrinsic quality means, constituent quality means that which cannot be given up from that particular substance, vastu. And as far as Atma is concerned, that which cannot be given up is not light and all those things. No, seva. Service. So service, Prabhupada says, is the most important thing. Hence, engaging in Krishna conscious service is actually existence in the spiritual world, imitating the existence in spiritual world. Like as Srila Prabhupada was saying, there is no difference between transcendental activities happening in Golok Vrindavan and the activities of devotional service happening in the material world. So when a person comes to this understanding, then he will know, okay, what is the meaning of giving up connections with Sutta, Suhut, Griha, Vitta, Dharaha. When we understand. And understanding that he has to match. Now, to balance material life requirements and spiritual life, we cannot decide ourselves. That is why sadhu sangha. We need to be in consultation with sadhus as far as our life is concerned. We cannot figure out what our life has to be, how our life is going, because we are trying to balance this material and spiritual conflict which is there in every minute we go through. This conflict cannot be solved on self. That is why association. Only with the association of devotees. And now what is association? Association is not just going and saying, Prabhu, give me some association. Wrong vocabulary. You cannot buy association. You cannot ask association. You can only pray for association. Association is given. Association cannot be stolen. Cannot be snatched. Because we are dealing with human beings, we are dealing with personalities. Because the subject matter is very grave. Since the subject matter is very grave, an association has to be begged. Association has to be prayed. Everybody thinks association means going and asking some questions. No. Included. Association means submissive state of existence. When I am submissively existing with spiritual subject matters, what are the spiritual subject matters we are connected with? Right? Sadhus, Shastra, Guru. We are in association of this. So if we are in the physical presence of these three things, it's not association. Not enough. If I am in a competitive spirit, if I am in a challenging spirit, if I am in a separatist spirit, it's not association. That is why it's a state of mind. If I am submissive in the presence of sadhus, it is association. What is the meaning of submissiveness? Submissive, who is submissive? A beggar is submissive, supposed to be submissive. He's always wanting, right? Bhiksha, 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 bhiksha. That is the state of a spiritualist. He is always waiting for mercy. Then you won't be challenging. Then you won't be rebellious. You will be sincere. That is the meaning of sincere, submissive attitude. So it's an attitude. If one is having this attitude, he will get associated. Presence of sadhus, Sankirtan with sadhus, Bhagavata Katha with sadhus, Prasada Parayana with sadhus, Tirtha Yatra with sadhus, living with sadhus. These are all association. Not simply seeing and writing down things, hearing. No, that is all grabbing. That attitude should go. Hence, this is association, a state of mind where he is waiting and hankering for spiritual advancement by mercy. Because association is a process how mercy flows. Associating with the temple, associating with the deities, associating with Tulasi, associating with Tirtha places. Tirthi kurvanti tirthani swantasthana gatha vrta. The greatest pilgrimage is meeting a sadhu. What is the meaning of that? It is not a physical thing alone. So when we have that state of mind, of submissiveness, and this hankering for spiritual. What is the hankering? Hankering is, I am a fool. I do not know how to get out of the clutches of material world. How to do that? Can I get a little bit of intelligence, little bit of common sense, little bit of ways how to get out of this material world. Convince myself how to get out of this material nature. So the subject matters of spiritualism, what Prabhupada has written, every word is a subject matter of meditation. When we get used to that, meditating on every word which is given here, then we understand the purports properly. Now, why do we need to understand? So I can put it to practice. When I put it to practice, my bhakti matures. Bhakti matures means my action matures, which gives rise to finally prema. That is the final goal. Being totally connected with Krishna. So it's a long way to go. But Prabhupada says, 1 minute, you get Krishna's, be Krishna conscious. That 1 minute is not my struggle. 1 minute is a mercy and decision of the supreme authoritarian person, called Krishna. If he wishes, 1 minute. I may be struggling till the moment of my death. The last second of my death, Krishna conscious. If we have been doing these things throughout life. So there's no point in being sad. There's no point in being distressed or frustrated that what is Krishna conscious? I am not Krishna conscious. I am not Krishna conscious. Or morning till evening you are doing only Krishna consciousness. Since you do not know the value of that, you are saying that what is Krishna consciousness? So we need to have value of what we are doing from morning till evening. It is a big subject, big serious subject which we are involved in. By doing this, they nityam bhagavata sevaya, then it opens up. Why? Because it is a science. It has to open up. And it doesn't matter you are in sattva-guna, rajoguna, tamoguna, or a mix of all these things in different proportion. That is the beauty of Krishna consciousness. There is a level ground for everybody. Somebody may say, I have no karma, bad karma, so I am not able to advance. A person in sattva guna, a person in sattva and raja, a person in rajas, a person in sattva, rajas and tamas, and a person in tamas. Everybody has an equal ground to get Krishna. Because it does not matter where the starting point is. What matters is the tivrena bhakti yogena. What matters is the intensity of bhakti. Intensity of our endeavor. This is one thing which Krishna cannot give. Endeavor. He can give anything. Endeavor is a self-generated thing. I need to endeavor. So Krishna consciousness is an act. It's a process of purifying the action, and that is why Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita that second chapter. Be steadfast in yoga, O Arjuna. Perform your duty and abandon all attachment for success or failure. Such evenness of mind is called yoga. Right? Then, next, verse 50. A man engaged in devotional service rids himself of both good and bad actions, even in this life. Therefore, strive for yoga, O Arjuna, which is the art of all work. Yoga karmasu kaushalam. This is the meaning of purifying one action. Bhagavad Gita is nothing but how to purify our action. It's an art of work. It should be called, our institution should be called Art of Working Institutions. Or Art of Dying Institution. Because you should know the art of working and you should know the art of dying. Buddhi yukto jahatiya ubhe suhurta duskrite tasmat yogaya yunjasva yoga karmasu kaushalam. This is the art of action. So Krishna is telling Arjuna how to act. And that is why he is going back to fight. If this life of bhakti was everything about sitting and meditating, why would you go and fight? Or why would Dhruva Maharaj go back home? This is not the process of sitting in a corner. This is the process of acting in this world. Because only through action we can purify our actions. We, the soul, is an embodiment of action. But today, in a total kind of an action which only binds him. So we need to engage in an action which elevates us, which liberates us. So action of bondage and action of liberation. That's all Krishna consciousness is. But here, love of Krishna, strength of the holy name, which is the mercy of the Supreme Lord, association of devotees, because association of devotees makes devotional life tangible. Getting Krishna becomes tangible by the holy name. So the angas which Prabhupada has created, which is taken out from Bhagavatam, Murti Seva, Tulsi Seva, Bhagavata Seva, Nama Seva. These are all most important angas which can lead us to purification of our action. So while we do action, there are complexities. Because of guna kala karma, there are complexities. But going through the complexity and coming out purified is success. We'll stop here. Any questions or comments?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Prabhu, you told... Prabhu, the question is, like sometimes devotees, and they feel attachment material way of object. Let's say last 30 years in material world we practiced that I want object for my sense gratification. Now today we are practicing that we should not take it for our pleasure, but we should do the service for Lord's pleasure. But the challenge is after coming here, let's say I want contact for myself. I am doing competition in that sense, who will be having more contacts. And sometimes the mind gets contaminated so much that devotee starts feeling bad about himself and they leave the moment and go. Even though we understand that we have to do Bhagavad Seva, Murti Seva, but the mind overpowers by this kind of contamination. And so how to...
This is what I was telling, that getting lost in what we are doing. So we should know there's a limit to everything. We are doing liberating Lakshmi from Ravanas. Not with bow and arrow like Rama did, but with a different attitude. But the process is same. So we should keep that importance of that value only to that extent. That is why, while doing these sevas, we have to be in association of devotees. We have to understand the right attitude of associating. Otherwise, we get lost in what we are doing because everything is mine, is my attitude. So when I start serving Krishna, it will end up in me, not in Krishna. Whatever we are doing, it should end up in Krishna, not in me. So these are all the technicalities to, to deal with the mind. So discussing with devotees, learning it, and also applying these rules hard on us. That is why we have to understand preaching. The first thing in preaching is preaching to ourselves. When Krishna Katha is coming out of my mouth, you should first go to my ears. If it is not going to my ear and my heart, it will go to that man's ears and his heart. He will get purified. We will not get purified. So that's why it's walking on a razor's edge. You can cut yourself. The only way to keep track that we don't get lost is association. Like as somebody said, association, do you need skill for association? You don't need any skill for association. So we need to check and balance every day with devotees, with seniors who are experienced, who have gone through that, to see how to avoid these things. First of all, we should have guts to say that I have all these problems. First thing is we try to hide our problem. But the process we are in is a process of self-realization. So when I realize myself, I have to realize all my bad first. So when I realize all the bad things which I have been coated with, then we should be objective in understanding how to get out of that, rather than being ashamed or rather than trying to cover it up. Sarva upadi vinirmuktam. So open up is a process, right? So it's inhibition, certain things, in the beginning it's there. We are inhibited even to tell what my limitations are there. But then as you go on and on and on, you will feel you're stupid. Then you come out. Then you try to get clarified and you learn the right thing. Right is always learned with wrong. Every activity in the material world starts with a fall, right? You start walking, you fall. So we start doing devotional service, we can fall. Fall in the sense, get confused. But everything said and done, except the aspect of living and going. But if he is continuing to do this also, we get purified. I am using my competitive spirit in serving Krishna. So I got a little envious of my other devotee who got big contact. Keep in mind, try again. So it keeps us active in Krishna consciousness. Hence Prabhupada did not stop competition. We are not competing in the material world, we are competing in the spiritual world. Of course, we may have certain smoky aspects of that, not a pure competition, but still it is okay. But if it comes to the matter of giving up and going, then you have to probably take consultation and try to correct it. So we need to go out to the world to preach with Shastra in the hand, see the material world, Shastra Chakshuhu, through the eyes of the Shastra. Our duty is only to relieve. And I may be, by my karma, I may be an expert in getting things out of people. Because my karma is not good, I am not so good in connecting with people, I am not so good in getting, doesn't matter, my endeavor is there. So sincere endeavor is what is important, not the phala. Phalas, all these things are at a level of management only, just to see that, okay, people are doing their job, that much endeavor they are putting. Because without endeavor, nothing can happen, right? So the only proof for endeavor is result. Because nobody is pure in this world. Right? The person who is doing and the person who is monitoring, both are in material world. So the only way to monitor is through results. So to that extent, result may be important. But in the absolute level, endeavor is more important than the result. So we need to know these things. To what extent we need to deeply involve in those details of the material action. Because we should not get lethargic also. This is a place where the perfect place for lethargy. Accept it. Let us be honest. This place is a perfect place. खाना आएगा, कपड़ा आएगा, मकान भी है, सब कुछ भी है, आराम से बैठना है, बस. Very good formula for lethargy. So the only way to not be lethargy is do these things. And to be monitored. It has to be monitored. So that's all the value of management is. Management should not be extended towards too much. It is necessary evil in the material world. Right? So we have all these things. So if it is generating some competitive spirit, okay, but it should not get into a very serious issue in the heart. Then we should understand. Krishna is giving him. So rather than getting envious, ask Krishna only. Krishna says, I know how much to give. Okay, sir. If you don't give, also I'll work. Our philosophy is, Aslishya padaratam pinastu ma marmahatam karotu vayata tatha va vidadatu lambato mat prananata. You kick me, you give me contact, you don't give me contact, you give me prasadam, you don't give me prasadam, you make me a big devotee, you don't make me a big devotee, you don't make me a unit president, you don't make me a division, what are the things, division head, that head, this head, that tail and this legs. I am your servant. This is the bottom line. But it will take time. Everybody has to go through this grinding process. It's purification. But as I said yesterday, don't jump out of the bus, that's all. You jump out of the bus, then you'll fall fractured. So the process is perfect. I am imperfect. So these small imperfections, no big issues. It's not considered very seriously. to give up the movement and all. Many people say, I'm very bad, I'm not qualified for spiritualism. Then what are you qualified for? You are part of this creation of the Lord. There is no duplicate Lord where you can jump to. There is only one camp. Krishna's camp is only one camp available. There is no other camp to go. You have no other way other than to follow the grind and purify somehow or the other. So jumping out is not an option. It's like jumping from the ocean into the ocean itself. Because where is ocean? If you're in the middle of the ocean, where will you jump? How much ever you jump, you'll fall bloop in the ocean only. So that is our situation. We need to take our, roll up our sleeve and get into water. Get into it and then do it. That's the only way. So when people are simple, they feel easy. Some people are complicated, feel a little difficult. But everybody has issues in different degrees. We need to keep that in mind. So action. And again, doing. Yoga rudasya. What is that verse? Okay, open your mobile. So we need to act. But finally, this action, what we are doing, has to be an internal action. Something which I thought is, working in this world is possible only when you are young, right? When you're old, when your strength is all gone, what action you will do? Not possible. Action has to become inside. If at the time of old age, if you don't want to be pressurized by your crazy mind and make you senile, you need to understand what is internal action. And internal action at that stage is only possible if you have done enough external action when your body is fit. This is a truth. If you have done enough for Krishna externally in my able times, then we can be internally active. A devotee is internally active. And that is also action. When I say devotional life is action, doesn't mean that you not always do physical work. Physical work, mental work, intellectual work, everything is action. Anything which creates a reaction is an action. Reaction can be created from body, mind, or from ego. Anything can create. So, being mentally satisfied, shastrically getting deep into shastras in your old age, thinking of Krishna, having ruchi in chanting the holy name, like yesterday we heard, more and more crazy for hearing about the Lord. If these qualities have to come, these are not the qualities of a pure devotee, these are all qualities of a going to be devotees. So we are all going to be devotees, right? So these qualities have to come when my hands and legs can't act anymore. Just imagine. So it's very important that we give so much time to our young days by acting externally, being busy externally, so that you can be busy internally. Otherwise, you'll be crazy when you're old. Warning. It's for our own requirement. We cannot be active always, externally. The devotee is internally active, self-satisfied. Krishna says in Gita, the devotee is self-satisfied. Right? He is happy in understanding what he is, just by breathing. And he is always serving Krishna through Nama Japa or through Smaranam. Smaranam is our external activities, what we do today. It may be all this, what you said, lot of fight, lot of this, lot of that, lot of misunderstanding, doesn't matter. Misunderstanding is better than no understanding. Right? That's the way to correct understanding. So all these activities we are doing externally is an asset for me to create my internal action, which is important in our old age. Then, at the time of death, ante narayana smriti. That is the goal. So we should not give too much value to all the complexities which come about while we are externally acting in the material world. Don't give too much importance. Yet maybe if it is becoming too struggling, too difficult, then you have to take the active, whatever corrective measures. That is there. Not that you have to keep, no, I'm always. All these mental things we need to handle. These are all small things. The biggest thing is to detach the Atma from this material body. I got a contact, I didn't get a contact. Who's bothered? All this is not important. I succeeded in devotional life. I did big thing. I am good management. I cannot manage. I can't relate. I can relate. I can't dance. I can't chant. I can't play kartal. These are all has its value only to the limited extent of our today's existence in this body, which is nothing. So the serious business is be in knowledge, satya. Can I watch over myself? We are Kshetrajna. We are not the Kshetra. Many times we misunderstand. We become Kshetra and then we get trouble. We are not the Kshetra. We are not the body. We are not the mind. We are not the intelligence. We are not the ego. There are the field of activities. I am the observer in the field of activity. So always be an observer in the field of activities when you are doing activities. That is the best state of existence. Observer. And that is what Gita is telling. Observe your ups and downs. Observe your problems. Observe your success. Don't take part in any of these things. Because you are not that. Body is material element. Mind is material element. Ego is material element. The way I act is a result of this material world. The ability I have is a result of this material world which I have acquired by my karma. My knowledge, my intelligence, my ability, all this is part of the material world. I have nothing to do with that. So we need to always observe ourselves. When you observe ourselves and do activities in the material world, there is very less chance of getting fully involved in that. Okay, it's too late. Srimad-Bhagavatam ki.